Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You're walking with Mr. Clay. I'm Mr. Clay. And we just thank God for those of you that have been with us since the beginning and those of you who have been with us here and there's about. And we thank the Most High for those of you who have just subscribed. Yes, as well as those of you who are contemplating subscription. At least the thought is in your head. Yes, we're calling those things that are not as though they are, but we do ask you to like, share, and subscribe. Yes. Controversial as we may be, we're thanking God anyway, and we're continuing anyway. Yes. We're in Isaiah chapter 35. Isaiah chapter 35 as you prepare. And we're still looking at what God is doing. You're going to find out that the book of Isaiah is basically telling Judah and some of the stragglers of the 10 tribes that have, mainly Judah and Benjamin was basically put together. And so the book of Isaiah is basically saying you're going to go through a time. You're going to go through a time. Whatever you do in that time, don't do this and don't do that. I do this because I want you to come back to me. And some don't see it. Some say the Most High hides his face, but yet they never take examination of themselves. We do have to examine ourselves to see whether we are walking in the law or not. Whether we believe God and what God says. The fact is, the promise of the Most High was already put out. When he says that if you do what I ask you to do, if you defeat your enemies, if you do the commandments and statutes and ordinances that I put before you, blessed are ye when you go in and blessed are ye when you come out. Read Deuteronomy chapter 28. Keep that in your mind. Keep that in your mind. Because not only it applies to them then, it applies to those who would follow after Israel even today. It would follow after the Israelite way, should I say, according to the law, statutes, commandments, and ordinances and laws of the Most High that was handed to Moses to give to the children of Judah, that they might be an example unto the I am and unto the world of men. This is how the Most High would have you to conduct yourself. Now, here the Most High is giving Isaiah different visions and showing them that you're going into captivity, period. Some of you just not right. You're going into captivity. Many of you are going to be deleted. Many of you are going to be taken captive. And it's going to happen. But what's going to happen is that I'm going to bring you out. Just like Egypt. They went into Egypt and many of them accepted the ways of the Egyptians and were following the ways of the Egyptians, but yet they knew they were in the back of their mind there is a God, there was Moses. But this entity over Egypt did not go for that. So therefore, here we go again. He chased them all the way down that they might come back to him, even this God of Egypt. No, there were gods appointed to different societies. Now the God of Assyria, the spirit, which the power that's over Assyria, is now after Israel. It have already got it, persuaded it to turn around and come back to them. See, even as that is so, we recite the prayer of Abraham. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits who have swayed the thoughts of men's hearts. And let them not lead me astray from thee, my God. Establish thou me and my seed that we go not astray henceforth and forever. And that will be found in Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20. Yes, Isaiah chapter 35 as we begin. And these books, I'm not going to say Bible as far as a whole, because the New Testament has really no right of being there. It's just a fictitious book that have been borrowed. The Quran is not it would combine with the Bible. Neither is any other book combined with the Bible, but when you go to the Ethiopian Coptic Bible, yes, it's there. But yet, who was the one that gave them the translation? At first, was it not Rome? Okay, so these things have been. But if you read the different historians, one I particularly like is the Discoveries by Daniel Borenstein, you find out they did it all for control. The Egyptians did not have, the ancient Egyptians did not have the control over the people as the gospel that they came up with, or the news they came up. It gave them control. It gave the men power, godlike power over people, that they would do anything they would say. As far as the Egyptians, no, they went into witchcraft. They did everything they wanted to do. They committed adultery. People were just buck wild. But now here you got, let's concoct this here. That is one story. There's another story. It's shout out to one of the YouTubers who came up with one that talks about the Pisos. How that they had used the Old Testament and it sort of picture or reflect in a way, sublimated to reflect their family ways in a way. Because the things did happen according to in their family, as far as their, being persecuted and, beaten and all these other things. Yes, this was part of it. Yes, Curie-Mayo, yes, that's his name. But either way, there are other stories about this New Testament. So to me, just bringing up all these hypotheses and bringing up all these different stories for the New Testament, it's null and void. It's just nothing. You believing a lie. But the fact is that the Old Testament is verifiable. The biggest verifiable thing that I know and I see and I can go and touch it with my hand is Telerad. Like from Telerad, and that which is Jebus. This is a fact. I can go from Jebus to where Bethlehem was, just remnants. I can go and put my hands on the graves of the kings of Israel. Which that Israel that you see is no good. Go to Telerad if you want to touch something. If you want to say, well, I know where their graves are. I know where this is. Go to Telerad and explore. There are tours there. There's guides there. They will gladly help you and show you. But this is kept hush hush. And if I could ever get the funds up to go to Telerad, I will. And I will take it and I will film it for myself. Every detail that I can find. Yes. But the fact is that right now, the Most High may not want me to go there. Because if the Most High did, then the funds would come. And I would just be so grateful and so, probably bow every step of the way. Just bowing before the Most High and thanks that you let me see before my life is over with the things that you have done. And they've been hidden. Regardless of what people say, the names of things and all that stuff, it doesn't matter. Because the description in Jebus fit the description in the different books that we call the Old Testament. Now, Isaiah chapter 35. It says, now, the wilderness and a solitary place shall be glad for them, and the desert shall rejoice and blossom as a rose. It shall blossom abundantly and rejoice even with joy. And singing, the glory of Lebanon shall be given unto it, the excellency of Carmel and Sharon. And they shall see the glory of the I Am and the excellency of our God. What is this? If you read in the book of Ezra and Nehemiah, you find out when they were released from captivity to go and rebuild the temple, and the other went to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem, or Jebus, or the city of David, then they were there. They were ready to do what the Most High says. They were practicing it even while they were in captivity. But now here they go, bringing in the sheaves, singing before the Most High. Here they go now. Strengthen ye the weak hands, confirm the feeble knees. Say to them that are fearful heart, be strong. Fear not, behold, your God will come with vengeance, and your God with recompense, and he will come and save you. Yes, he did that through the Persians. Yes, he did save them from captivity from the Persians, that they could dwell in their own land. Yes, he did. This is what Isaiah is about, really. And it came to pass. Now, we get to the point where we come and we see that God did come with vengeance. He brought vengeance upon each one that have brought them unto captivity, the Assyrian captivity, the Babylonian captivity, and even the Persian captivity. Even though the king of Persia did allow them to go and they were able to build, and what happened was, because they read the law, those who were about to faint, that were weak in their confidence in the Most High, he strengthened the weak hands and he confirmed the feeble knees, because the fact is, he read the law. Ezra read the law and they rejoiced. They kept the Passover. They pushed out the people that would disturb the Sabbath on that day. Yes, they did. Some of you think that's Jesus. You've been fooled. You've been bamboozled. That's not about Jesus. It's about the captivities that they were in, that we came out of that captivity. Now, say to them that are fearful heart, be strong, fear not, behold, your God will come with vengeance and with recompense. And that happened. Then the eyes of the blind shall be opened, and the ears of the deaf shall be unstopped. Yes, by reading of the law, commandments, statutes, and ordinances of the Most High. Then shall the lame man live as a heart, and the tongue of the dumb sing in the wilderness. Water shall break out in streams in the deserts. Yes. The pool that was in the temple that was used for the sacrifices, to wash the sacrifices, was still flowing. It was there. That same pool, that same stream that was there in the desert. This place has been desertification have happened to this place since then. Now, and the parched ground shall become a pool, and the thirsty land springs of water, and the habitations of dragon, where each lay shall grass with reeds and rushes. And the Most High just allowed the land to grow and yield its strength, even in desertification. And an highway shall be there, and a way, and it shall be called the way of holiness. The unclean shall not pass over it, but it shall be for those wayfaring, though fools shall not err therein, because of the reading of the law. They wanted the law. They were hungry for the law. No lion shall be there, nor any ravenous beast shall go up thereon, and it shall not be found there, but the redeemed shall walk there. Lions were not going to come there anyway, because the place had been desertified. It was desert. It was dry. Lions and all carnivorous beasts will follow their prey, period. And that was into the continent of Africa. They ceased to go there. But there were tigers, and tigers are still all over the land. You might find a tiger walks alone. A tiger doesn't have to have a pride. It doesn't have a mate. But if it finds one, it's sure going to do its business. But the fact is that tigers walk alone, so it is said. And it says that here, and the ransom of the I am. These were the people that were taken captivity. The tribe of Judah, stragglers of Israel and Benjamin. And come to Zion with songs, and everlasting joy shall be upon their heads. And they shall obtain joy and gladness, and sorrow and sighing shall flee away. Yes, this thing has happened. Yeah, no, that was Jesus. That wasn't no Jesus. That wasn't no Yahweh Shai, no Yahushua. No, it wasn't. that was in the book of Ezra, Nehemiah. Now you get to a certain other, this prophet here, when he gets past the kings, when the prophets get past the kings, then you look forward to a future there. He's still in the kings. Isaiah is still prophesying during the times of the king, and it had come to pass during the times of the kings, as we shall see in the next chapter. But the fact is that, and it will come to pass. You can read the book of 2 Kings. Isaiah is mentioned there, where the prophecy was brought forth as far as Assyria, that God was going to destroy Assyria, but yet there was going to, something was going to happen first. But if we do those things that are right before the Most High, and bring using the common sense, the 5 parts of speech, not parts of speech, but the 5 questions we should ask anyone that is talking: who, what, when, where, and how, and sometimes why. Sometimes you have to say that to yourself in order to understand others. Who are you talking about? What are you talking about? It's saying, when did this happen? When did this happen that you're talking about? Or when is it going to happen? You ask yourself these 5 questions and you will be able to understand anything. Or you can find out it's just a bunch of malarkey. Because people have to answer, the books have to answer. The person that is conversing, it doesn't take a college degree to do what is elementary. You have to use these things every day in order to understand. Misunderstanding is because we don't have a good understanding of the language that we speak. In any language, you ask these same questions to understand the person, if you understand the language. Now, if we do those things that are right before the Most High, yes, we will. And we will inherit it and come to Zion singing. Even our own Zion of our hearts, even the Zion that we have in our own homes, peace, jobs, fairness, and we will have peace.